I want to try and explain the unified awareness with the divine, with God. I know that is a mental barrier for most people, and even scripturally it tells us that the natural mind is at enmity with God, meaning it just cannot assimilate and fathom all that is divine. It's naturally separate, and it can only be and think in a separated manner. So when we are in the natural mind, when our natural mind is the predominant driver of our human daily life and existence, there is no way for that mind to fathom the I am truth. Sure, throughout the day, the natural mind will use the phrase I am and then add a verb or adjective or what have you. And it does so completely unconscious of what those two words or those three letters actually imply. I am is the name of God, and we use it unconsciously every day, 1,000,000 times probably. So I want to try and bring some awareness to that and explain separation awareness from unified awareness. So the natural mind cannot fathom this. So try to hear this energetically through the spirit. Try to tap out of your mind for a moment and stretch out into the etheric, bigger spiritual body that you are. So, we use the word I am 1,000,000 times a day and are not aware. If I use my own example for a lot of the things that I do these days, and even recording these videos, in a lot of ways I am, did you hear that? I am rewriting scripture in a sense. I'm rewriting the meaning, re-explaining, reinterpreting the meaning based on my new conscious awareness. This is not book knowledge. This is conscious awareness that the universe, that the Spirit of God has allowed me to have access to. So I am rewriting the scripture. When you come from a Christian indoctrinated mind, the mind has exclusively reserved the phrase I am to Jesus Christ as God, as the divine. So the mind has already reserved. Where there is a reservation, it means mentally we have set that phrase aside to only apply to God. So there's no way that we're going to think of ourselves in terms of I am, even though that is the essence and name of God, that our mind will ever accept this phrase for ourselves. Never ever. The mind will make a subtle switch and flip you over to Jesus Christ, that I am only applies to Jesus Christ. So that's how the natural mind can never come into a unified state with the divine. It simply can't. It's a mechanical mechanism in the mental. It cannot think of itself as God, even though in the small egoic sense it will boast and act as if it was a little God, but it's not in the spirit of God. It's in the spirit of the egotistical, puffed up little mind. So there is that distinction. It's never the same. But you're not in the flesh, it says. You are in the spirit, and you are spirit. So try to hear this in the spirit. So when I say I am rewriting scripture, like Jesus has done in Matthew 5 on the Sermon of the Mount, he would say, you have heard it taught and said in the law, this and that, but I say unto you, right? So he was rewriting scripture. And we attributed that authority only to Jesus. However, here I am, there is that word again, I am. Here I am rewriting the meaning of scripture, or re-recording it, reinterpreting the meaning of traditional scripture. And I'm doing this from an understanding of consciousness, not an understanding of learned literary work or grammar or the academic knowledge. It's not from there. So I am rewriting the scripture. What our separated mind will do is apply this to Jesus and change the sentence to I am is rewriting the scripture, like Jesus did. The mind defers to a separate being as Jesus, as the I am. And so it puts the little parenthesis in there and adds the little word is, like we all often see in the scripture, the added italics for better understanding. Well, that little is not always a better understanding. It actually dilutes the truth. So you don't add an is to I am unless you're making a distinction from yourself. It's grammatically and spiritually incorrect. So we don't want to add the is to the I am. It's illogical and wrong. You are the I am that I am. This has to be spiritually understood. The mind will never get it. Now, God tried to make it really easy for us by giving us only that one name so that we couldn't get it wrong. I am is the name of God. I am is what identifies you. Do you see the correlation? There is no separation or distinction between you and the divine. It is all one and the same ball of wax, if you want to put it in those terms. You cannot separate yourself out from the divine. Think of it as the breath that you breathe every moment. Can you separate yourself from that breath? And even when you physically die, are you getting separated from God, or is your God part simply departing from the shell that is your body? You can't ever get separated from God. You are that divine essence. You are it. You are. I am is the nature and the name of the divine, and it is you. I hope that made some sense. This is the one concept that is, it cannot be explained, and certainly not to the mind. So I'm hoping that you're hearing this in the spirit, from the divine ears that you are, the divine spirit that you are. I'm hoping you can make the connection, even though you don't need to make the connection. You are the whole. There is no separation except the separation that the mind creates. Beware of the mind. Do not walk in the flesh or in the mind, but walk in the spirit. Have a wonderful day.